Yeah, just as an introduction, and again, thank you for those joining the call, and I know there will be a few more joining over time. I'm really excited, and it's with a great honor to introduce Neil Photay and the team at CosTech Dental to what is our digital denture rollout. Now, what has happened in the past is that we have been validating and testing various materials and various labs to try and find a great solution in which we can deliver a denture to patients in as little as 2 visits. It's really exciting. The material's fantastic, and it's really quite a change from our traditional 4 to 5 visits that we'd have with analog impressions. So what will happen is, in the build up to ClinCon, and by the way, CosTech will be at ClinCon, we will have this denture rollout, this digital denture rollout happening from Monday, the 13th of October, effectively meaning any TRIO scans sent to CosTech and requesting a denture will by default have a digital denture fabricated, made for yourselves, unless the clinician specifically requests a cobalt chromium or a flexible, or in whichever case a traditional denture. This is to encourage clinical usage of the scanner and of course the clinical digital workflow, as well as boost the confidence of the user within the application. So it's in a really exciting stage. We super glad to have CosTech as one of our preferred digital lab partners on board. I'll stop my yapping and I'll hand over to Neil Photay, the Managing Director and boss of CosTech. Thanks, Neil. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Dale. It was a lovely introduction. Thank you, everyone, for joining me on your lunch break. I'm just seeing the numbers of people ticking in, and we're at 116. That's absolutely fantastic, and it's nice to see people excited for dentures, an area of dentistry which is often necessary but never exciting until now. Thank you for joining, and a little bit about CosTech. So I've seen a lot of people in the room who are with us for many years, and a lot of new faces as well. So welcome, and it's nice to meet you all. A little bit of history about CosTech. So you can see kind of like where we started from, and where we started was in Gravesend, and all the way back in 1977. There's my mum and dad. They're in the room as well. Dad's a technician, mum's a dentist, and they started the lab in 77, predominantly crown and bridge and a bit of prosthetics. And my sister and myself, we were brought up in the lab and the surgery, and it gave us a very unique perspective of how the technical and clinical side really works hand in hand. So a lot of the challenges that we try and overcome is actually from first-hand experience. It was in 2004, just after I finished uni, when I did a degree in computer science, and learning is during the internet boom, when I was learning all about the new technology that was coming through, and I came back and saw the lab, and we started just naturally incorporating things that were happening. And we started CosTech 2.0. So with the guidance of my dad, Mohan, he said, right, let's start again. Let's use this new digital drive that's happening in the world, and let's see what we can do. We decided to take that and say, right, instead of just being predominantly crown and bridge, let's go full service. That was the big drive for us. But as well as that was to bring it into the new world of compliancy, and to ensure that everything that was being done was always future-proof. In which case, so it took us a little while to really get our boots down, and we got our DAMAS in 2010. And it was in 2011 that, when it was still called IDH, we became an approved lab. It was in 2004, 2005, we realized that our ambition of how much we wanted to really help the industry, when there was a massive decline in not able to get technicians, we had to find technicians wherever they were in the world. And that's when we started working with our manufacturing partner based in Mumbai. The reason why we chose them, because also a family-run laboratory, and also their core beliefs, they mirrored our own. They really looked after the assets of compliancy and commitment to quality. So, of course, they're one of the few labs that are actually FDA for America. However, they only use CE and UKCA materials. We have a dedicated team of over 300 technicians working to CosTech standards that have been developed since 1977. So we could really start bolstering our vision. And it was with that, we always spoke about in many meetings about how it would be nice if prosthetics work was the same as crown and bridge. So much nicer for the patients. Nobody wants to take time off for the to go and visit the dentist, and the quicker we can get the patients eating again, being able to function, being able to speak properly, that's always a bonus. So this is when we started talking about Digi-Dentures. It's actually in development. We started back in just after lockdown when the technology started catching up. And where it was our drive to really develop a two-stage denture, we started investing very, very heavily in the R&D. At the beginning, it was a few systems, then a few more and a few more, and we started looking at all of the various systems and all the pros and cons, and nothing really stuck. And we had to try and find a very good balance of what was technically possible in the laboratory and clinically excellent, but as well as being affordable. A lot of these systems that are developed worldwide don't have the NHS system, and a lot of the systems that did come out, just the lab manufacturing costs were running up to £200 to £300 for a single denture, and it's like, well, that's just not possible in the NHS system. So growing up in the NHS surgery and seeing exempt patients coming in, and seeing how people very reluctant to spend money on their teeth. You have to say, no, you need it for your health, for your fitness. And so to actually get something which was clinically excellent and affordable was one of our visions. So a little introduction to Digi-Dentures and how we developed it, what we've done. Just going to watch a short video and then we'll go through all the stages. So as you can see, we develop everything using the CAD/CAM system. We're using ExoCAD, and it's one of the best systems out there. The 3Shape one also amazing. We use a combination of both of them. So what we do, and one thing which is quite unique, and I'll just jump back to here, is we actually mill our teeth using PMMA blocks. And one of the reasons is that during our tests over the 3 years, we noticed that we found them to be a lot stronger. The occlusion doesn't wear down as fast. It still wears down the same as normal denture teeth. However, having it milled gives it the longevity. And we really like the aesthetics that it was producing. One thing that we've just released, I'm sure some of you have already seen some of our communications saying that the shades were limited. We can actually now say all shades are now available. This is how fast we're developing this in-house. It's week by week things are developing, and it's great to be able to announce that. So with the teeth, which I'll come on to later on, we're also using Detax resin. Is one of the best resins that we found. That again, the clinical aspect of it as well as the affordability, absolutely amazing. But also with the Detax, we found that it was the stability of it was break and tear resistant. It didn't have a residual odor smell that we had with some of the previous ones, and also manufacturing, it's very nice to work with as a material. So with the dentures, you have the ability for custom staining, shading. You can see here how we can actually really go to town on how nice these dentures are going to look. With traditional dentures, you spend a lot of time doing manual processing, flasking, packing. It's messy, it's dirty, it's laborious. Where we're now going digital and the technology is taking over, we can actually take the technicians and the skill sets that they have to really start working on the artisan side of things, to really start pushing the aesthetics of dentures. So we bond the gingiva and teeth together using light-cure resin. This has been tested extensively because one of the aspects that everyone says is, what about debonding? And with previous versions, yes, it was a problem. So we did a test and with a new technique that was developed. We broke dentures on purpose to see how much force it needed. And what we actually found was the tooth actually fractured itself before it debonded. So we got to a point where we can say we're now confident with our bonding process. What we have is we have developed 3 levels of quality so it can suit all of your patients. As you go up the levels, it's a higher level of gum staining and contouring. So quick thing, 1, all shades are available, and 2 week between appointments. And at the moment, we're keeping it to 2 weeks for 3 reasons. 1, this is going to take off, and it's going to take off, and we're up to 151 people. So already I know how successful this is going to be. So we wanted to just leave a little bit of headroom for our production to be able to scale. And then as it scales up and we start finding where it plateaus and we start finding our resting point, we'll start bringing it down. The aim is within 6 months, we should be bringing it down to a 1 week turnaround for everything, NHS, my options and private. So bear with us, 2 weeks for now, and then we're coming up to 1 week soon. So here we have the NHS version. We have monolithic teeth with this. So the actual puck that we use is just 1 shade. We have all the shades available to us. We don't have to rely on surface staining or anything. And the denture is just polished. For the NHS, it's a functional, good denture. The teeth that we use comes from a digital library, and we bring those in and we find the same as how we do with carded teeth with traditional dentures. We find the best suited one and put those in place to try and match the aesthetics as best we can. As you step up to the next level, the first thing that changes is the material we mill the teeth out of. So we actually use a multichromatic PMMA. So with this, it actually has the puck and it has various grading of translucency the further down the puck you go. This brings in a very nice, lifelike aesthetic to the dentures, and straight away when you see them, it's very difficult to capture it on the screen, but when you see it in person, you can really see it. The gingiva, we spend more time contouring, and it's a way of actually distinguishing for your patients to say, yes, it looks natural. So this is a very good middle ground. On the private side, this is where our master technicians really go to town. The characterization that we can go to is amazing. You can send us pictures and they will be able to copy as best they can to mimic. So if you're doing a partial and they've got very heavy staining or very dense gingiva, they will do their best to actually replicate it. As you go up, the tooth libraries that we use go all the way up to the point where with the private one, we actually spend a lot more time uniquely designing each individual tooth to mimic, so especially with partials, to match their natural dentition. So for example, if on one side, on the right hand side, they've lost their like the 3, 4, 5, we would actually take the opposing side and mirror it onto the other side so it actually looks like their own teeth, and then we'll actually carve in all of the occlusion. So this way you can really see how unique each denture will be. Also, if somebody has to have extractions but their teeth look good, you can take a pre-op scan. Take a pre-op scan and send it through to us. It's an amazing bit of information because we'll actually take that 3D scan and mill the teeth exactly how their old teeth, as long as they're not completely degraded and have massive chunks out of them. But sometimes you have to extract loose teeth. We can actually still use the morphology and replicate their dentition. And here we have the prices. So the first thing you notice, it's we don't charge differently if it's 1 to 3, 4 plus, 8 plus. We just charge, is it a partial or full? The main reason for this is, again, coming back to working in the surgery, especially with NHS with fixed price. You don't want to have to be sitting looking at a patient and saying, okay, well, let's price this one up in my head. You just have to look at the patient and say, I know exactly what this patient needs. And you don't have to do the mathematical gymnastics to work out what to prescribe. That should never be an issue. So we wanted to simplify things. All those prices, these are the prices which are now locked in, and as we develop it and as the volumes go up, I think the prices will only just get more attractive. So people who are very, very new to digital dentures, they might still be saying, well, what's the benefit? I like my traditional. Yeah, it takes a little bit longer, but it works. Everyone knows it's fewer appointment times and reduced chair time. This is key because 2-3 appointments, if you could be seeing an extra crown prep, you could be filling in 2-3 more assessments or something. You can really economize on your time a lot more. The enhanced precision and fit. Dentures, especially special trays, if you're talking about mucocompressive, static, all of those variables changes your technique. By going into oral, you have something stable and consistent. The fits that we get so far, what we're finding, are a lot better, and actually the amount of chairside adjustment that you need to do is absolutely minimized. Superior aesthetics, where we can actually mill each individual tooth, we can actually create better looking smiles. Also easy to duplicate and replace. If something happens, your patient goes skydiving and gets a denture knocked out of their mouth or something, and you can call us up, and as long as we still got it on file, we can just print it again. You don't have to go right back to the beginning and say, all right, we've got to do bite blocks 4 or 5 stages and start again. Just give us a call and we'll get another one printed. Improved comfort and function. This comes back to the precision and fit. Comfort and function, especially people who are new to dentures, where it's already something alien that they're working with. This will definitely, it'll be nice to actually do a study on first-time denture wearers to see how they actually cope compared to new denture wearers with traditional dentures. You get better bites. This is what we found. This is just a personal view. What we find is that the bites that we actually get, it's the most critical part of the denture. When you have a patient who's coming in for the first time, who maybe doesn't quite know exactly where the bite is, they bite and they slide. It happens. This way you can actually take multiple bites. We can actually take reference bites. In fact, an amazing tip that I always tell everybody, as soon as the patient walks in, take a reference bite. When you do the actual workflow and you take the upper and lower and then you take the actual bite, still go through that. However, send a separate scan or an additional scan or supplementary scan on your 3Shape system, and we can use that to reference against. Sometimes when the patient's been lying back and they had their assessment, their jaw's not quite right. So a little tip on that one. Here we have our denture selector. Now this is something that we've developed for my dentist, and it's something that patients who can't visualize, if you said, oh, well, this one's got contour and stippling, it's going straight over their head. So here we have it, the size, it's not quite the size of my head, but here we have it. And so the patients can actually see and feel what the quality of the denture. So when you're actually trying to tell them, it's very difficult to upsell to a patient, that blurred line between the clinical side of yourself and the business side of yourself is always blurred. Take that out of the equation. Just say, these are our options. The higher up you go, the better aesthetics you're going to have. And the patient can just make a nice informed decision. These will be available on our shop, and they'll be online soon, ready for ClinCon. We also do another one, which prosthetics, we've also have a crown and bridge one. Some of you I see who are actually on the pilot scheme as well for the crown and bridge one. So you can actually show the patient the difference between the different types of materials, and they can, again, make an informed decision. Some of you, hopefully you should have received them in the post by now. You should have received these cards. This is basically still something that you can use as a visual aid for your patients, so you can actually see exactly what they're having. We will have the updated version at ClinCon as well, and you can request these online for free, and we'll just ship them out for you. So for you, those of you going to ClinCon, make sure you come over and visit CosTech. We're going to have 10 sets of these. The retail price at the moment, these are running at around about £145, and this one's £275. You can get them as a set and two as a combo price. However, we've got 10 sets that we're going to be giving away free in a raffle. So, and the only way you can win it is to come over and visit and put your name down and come and say hi. Would love to meet you. So we compiled a list of FAQs. These are from dentists who are on the pilot scheme and our non-My Dentist clients. And these are kind of like the main questions that they ask. 1, copy dentures, are they possible? Yes, most definitely. There's 2 types of copy dentures. Someone who's already got an existing denture, and they say, you know what, I like it, it just doesn't look good, I want it to look a little bit better. You can actually do via the Trios workflow to do a scan of the denture, and we can replicate that completely. Copy dentures as well. If you're prescribing a new denture and you want to supply them with a copy denture, for example, if they're going for a private one and they're saying, you know what, I've got a dog that's got a habit of chewing my denture, can I have another one just in case? Yes, we can actually do them both at the same time. We're actually going to be keeping the digital files on our server and in cold storage. We're not sure how long for yet, but that will be ready for ClinCon. So for a limited amount of time, up to like 12 months, you'll be able to say, okay, well, you did a denture. Can we have another copy? Digi-dentures, can they be repaired, relined, and added to? Yes, 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 with an asterisk. So repaired, yes, it's a light cure material. It's still acrylic at the end of the day. And reline, yes, very good results. Can they be added to? Yes.
Referral letter, patient attended an emergency clinical sign of medical pathology of the right two.
Excuse me. On mute.
I've just muted it. It's all right.
Thank you. Thanks. Cheers. Sorry, Neil. Cool. Crack on.
Yeah. So with the additions, so what we'll be doing, so with a basic edition at the moment, we'll still be using carded teeth, the stock teeth that you get with your traditional denture. What we are looking to develop is that we actually custom make the teeth, and that down the line it may be an option where you can say, give me a basic edition, or no, make me a custom milled edition. If we still have the denture on file, you can even call us up before the patient even comes in and say, you know what, can you make a new denture with this, and we'll extract the tooth digitally, and the tooth that was there, we'll actually make a carbon copy of it, and just it will be replicated 1 for 1. So yes, everything is possible, and there's going to be more developments coming down the line. Can clasps be incorporated? This is an interesting one. Technically, yes, we can add a clasp, but we have to wonder why. We kind of rely on clasps in the traditional sense because of the amount of movement that we get in the analog process. Where this is designed in a CAD system, we can actually incorporate a lot more of the undercuts and the insertion axis, and we have a lot more control over the whole design aspect. So we shouldn't actually need to rely on clasps as much. If there's a clinical reason, for example, the patient literally has not a single undercut there, a clasp wouldn't help in the first place. So if you put one in and it's lifting or it needs that little bit of retention, can we add it on afterwards? Yes, it has to be done. It can't be done at the same time as the actual printing process. So it's done manually. What are your preferred workflows? Where this is such a new technology, a lot of labs have very different ways of doing things because they kind of develop them in-house organically. Luckily, we've been at the privilege of working very closely with 3Shape for many years, and their knowledge on this is probably some of the best that we've seen. And so we actually use theirs. And I'll come on to it a little bit later about the various workflows. I won't go into details on all of them. I will be doing a talk at ClinCon where I'll go into a little bit more depth on this, but in itself, it probably is a 6-hour CPD lecture, but I'll come back to that in a moment. Can Flexies be made digitally? They can't be manufactured, but it can go through your digital workflow. So scan this exactly the same way as you would for a digital. We then have to go back to a manual process because it's still a wax loss technique and injectable. But you don't have to break out your alginate and spatula and bowl. You can still use your scanner for Flexies. Can I improve the designs before manufacture? Yes, it is possible, but really it has to be requested on the RX right at the beginning. What happens is as soon as a case gets into our digital workflow, it's got a workflow state that is very fluid, and then trying to take something out of the chain sometimes can cause a little bit of disruption. But if we know you want it right from the beginning, not a problem. Make sure you put it in the instructions, say design it, send me the STL. Well, usually what we do is we send it via a web link using the ExoCAD web view, and you can see the actual 3D model of it, and then the case will stay on hold. And then when you say to go ahead, we'll actually get the admin team to then give you a new due date. And if we can still honor the original one, we'll do our best that we can do that. Where can I get more information? Amazing. We've got a dedicated web page for my dentist customers. So this is originally started off as the pilot scheme, but it's got so much amazing information. We've kept it going. And you can actually go to costech.co.uk/mydentist, and it's still got the banner ad on there. And on there, you can actually have all the resources available to you. How to onboard, how to connect to your scanner, all about the different materials, limitation prep guides. It's all there. You can also, there is links to your Workday portal. So this will actually open up in a separate one. So when people say, oh, what's your workflow? That's it. These are the ones that my dentists have actually put together with 3Shape. We've trained our technicians and admin on the same one, so they are aware of the procedures. If everybody knows exactly what hymn we're singing, we can sing beautifully. The main thing on this is feedback. Feedback for us is a major thing. I'll come on to this again, but if you've got any feedback, good, bad, and this is the one on the website is more as a global side of things. So the customer service team and how much you absolutely love the girls in the office, then that's where you put the feedback on. So one thing that we get a lot of questions about is why is my work delayed on digital work? And 9 times out of 10 it's because we don't actually have all of the information. We drop an email saying, oh, can you tell us this? We can't continue, and the email gets missed. Patient comes in and there's no crown. That's the worst thing that can happen. So this is actually on the website as well, and you can see the everything that we need. The restoration type, as Dale mentioned at the beginning, if you don't mention anything and just put denture, Digi-Denture will be made. But we really would prefer it if you can, even with it, just put digital denture, Digi-Denture, or classic traditional denture, not acrylic denture, because they're both acrylic, and that's going to cause ambiguity on that side. Extra notes, again, if you want to see the STL file before we go through to manufacturer, put that on there. More information, the better. Technicians love information, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to recreate a smile for a patient. And we need, the more information we have, the technicians get to build a picture of what the patient has, what they want. When patients come in with a grainy old black and white photo of their wedding day and saying, I really want my smile back, put it on there. Let's see what we can do. We'll do our best. Also, the return date, fit date. Put ideally, return date is the day you want it. If it is the fit date, we'll always try and get it back before then. But if you do put the date and it's the fit date, actually put fit date and days, and we'll manually adjust it. One of the big things that we have is the CosTech portal, and this is something that we've developed in-house. Going back to my computing days and along with my IT director, Stefan, we developed this so patients can track cases. So you can actually see when cases are due back, and if there's any queries on it, any delays, anything like that. You can also directly communicate with the lab. It's probably one of the best places that you can raise a query and send it through and talk directly with the team. Unfortunately, with the technicians and the team, they are busy and they're not always available to talk at the same time that you're available. So sometimes having an asynchronous communication is the best way, and also it's one of the fastest ways. You can also, people who are on our delivery route, you can actually get all of the tracking numbers for the raw mail. So you can actually track the cases once it's been dispatched. And also you can check the charges, so you don't have to wait until your bill comes through. You can quickly check it. Any problems, you can raise a query straight on there. Also, with our portal, it's one login for all of your accounts. For example, if you're a locum or you're a dentist that's working at 3-4 different sites, you don't have to have 3-4 different logins. It's actually one unique login, and then we'll link all of your various accounts, and then from the drop down you can choose the different practices, so you don't have to remember loads of passwords. And this is the big thing, that the other reason why we put this together is again, feedback. This is where you can put unique feedback on a job by job basis. And this is very important because we have the feedback loop, which I'm sure many of you have seen before. So you receive the case, you give us the feedback, we review the feedback, we look if there's any actions that need to be taken, we implement it, and then we receive the next case and the new thing, and the cycle keeps going round. We do this for our quality management system, DAMAS, and also for our partners for ISO. We like the feedback, good or bad, because sometimes we can pick up on trends. As we, you'll see later on, so Ashok is our compliance director, and when the complaints come through, complaints and compliments come through, we can pull them together and start building a picture of how the lab as a whole is running. And sometimes we can actually pinpoint things. So if people are saying, oh, the bite's tight, the bite's tight, the bite's tight, and then we pull up all of those cases, and when we look for the common denominator, and it's just one single designer, we can actually go to that one designer, check their system, check their calibration, check that they haven't actually changed the parameters. So sometimes the feedback, even though it's very small, you can say, look, crown was really nice, but it was a little bit tight. We'll actually go in there and say, okay, let's see what's common about this. Before it becomes a big problem, we can actually get in there, solve a problem before it becomes a massive thing. And especially with Digi-Dentures, so where this is a new one, even though we've already have hundreds of cases already fitted and patients are walking around, it's only with the feedback we can actually develop this even more and make it even more successful. I like to take a Kaizen approach methodology to the lab. I like the idea of constantly making small changes to continuously improve, and eventually it will then make long-term positive results. So feedback, good or bad, send it through. It's all welcome. So people asking who are the team that they're going to be working with, as well as myself and David. A lot of you have already, I'm sure, have spoken with David, and Jigger. He's our head of digital, Crown Bridge, and also looks after the implant department. So he'll be your one of your main points of contact. He has Charlie and Johnny. Johnny, he's one of our he's our latest apprentice that's graduated from our in-house apprenticeship program. So he's assisting Jigger, and he spends a lot of the time. If you've got problems with the scans, you're not sure how to do something, Jigger and Johnny will most likely be the ones who are actually going to help there to troubleshoot. Because it's Digi-Dentures, we have our prosthetics team. Anthony, who looks after the premium side of the prosthetics, and Richard on the economy, the NHS. So even though they're on the traditional side as well, they're the ones who help the dentist troubleshoot when, say, sometimes if scans aren't quite right, or something's looking a little bit ambiguous on the scan, we've got a little bit of artifacts coming in there. They're the ones that will do the final assessment. We have other teams who do it, and then it gets escalated through to these two guys who then make final decisions. And if they need to call you, they're more likely to contact you. Admin team, the three senior people on that side. Sophie, she's been working, I think she was 18 or 16 when she joined my mum as a dental nurse. So known her for many years, and also seen everything, how the surgery works, and she was a practice manager as well. So when you're talking to the admin team, these three people are the most senior people that you can speak to. Again, our compliance team, who look after, so Ashok and Sanjita, so they compile all of the feedback, do the reviews. Ashok does all of our DEMAS audits. Sanjita takes all of the results that gets compiled, assesses our policies and procedures, and rewrites them and retrains and documents, and the cycle starts again. So here's a few more of the team, the people that turned up for Photay Day. I think in the UK, there's 46 of us in total, and yeah, we look forward to working with you. And again, people who are new to CosTech, welcome, and everyone else who's using us, thank you very much for using CosTech and trusting us with your work. Cool. Is there any questions? I see that there's a few in the chat thread, and Ashok's on it. Thank you, Ashok.
They have been, Neil. Yeah, Ashok's been busy answering them. So I think whether Ashok's picking this one up, Neil, can I just verbalize it? Can practice managers order the selector kits, or does it have to be clinicians?
No. So basically, because the payment is done outside of the scope of lab work billing, so it's done via our online shop. I'm sure, I think, Ashok, I don't know if you're talking with Adrian, if there's any other way to do it, but as soon as we get to ClinCon, I'm sure there's going to be discussions about that.
Yeah,
and the best way to order.
Just to add to that, Neil, because I can see the question also related to Proactus. So at this moment in time, Proactus is our internal ordering system that we link up to suppliers, and of course practices have access to that. So it would be done directly with the lab. So as Neil pointed out, would be with the online shop. Perfect. Not quite yet with Proactus. Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, we can incorporate that in. I'll just say Kettering PM thing as the online, how is it billed? At the moment it's credit card, but if we can find out a mechanism that we can actually bill head office directly, then yeah. How long to deliver the denture? 2 weeks between patient appointments. So Monday to 2 weeks Monday, that gives us plenty of time. We're allowing a little bit of extra manufacturing time just for any problems that might arise. and within 6 months, we're hoping that we'll get it down to 1 week when we know exactly what our production levels are, because basically as the volume increases, we're going to be increasing our infrastructure. So when say, for example, when we're going up to maybe 100 dentures a day, we're not going to pre-buy all the equipment for 100. We build it up in stages, but when that graph starts plateauing, that's when we'll be able to say, yeah, we know exactly how much is coming in, and we'll be down to 1 week. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Heidi. It's great to have Heidi. I was talking with David, and I think Heidi's been a customer since very soon after David and myself actually took over the running of CosTech. Heidi, how have you been finding the digital
Hi,
dentures?
Neil. Yes, it's been exciting. I've been with CosTech since I think 2005.
Wow.
Been using you all the time, and now dentures have become very exciting because it's so much fun to scan and fit them, and it's well, I've had some really happy patients, new denture wearers and replacing dentures. It's been, yeah, quite an amazing journey. I'd say that in the last year, it's been developing and just getting better and better all the time.
That's fantastic. Heidi, could I ask a question just to benefit those on the call that may be new to digital dentures? What was your journey like in terms of education, training, videos, support from the lab? I think just to benefit those that are starting this digital denture journey.
See, in my dentist, we've got Jess, who is just, well, one of our leaders there. So she's done many webinars, and that's been basically my training for doing digital. Some of the trios webinars I've watched, and yeah, Jess, and then just practicing and doing it and deleting the scan and doing another one. So it's sort of a bit of self-taught, I would say.
That's great.
And I'm of a generation when computers were calculators, not real machines like this. So it took quite a bit of getting used to the scanner and the software and everything, but it's very exciting. I love it.
That's perfect. Thanks,
the crowds
Heidi.
have been amazing all through. The dentures have been, they were more of a challenge, but they're not so much challenging now. I am yet to make a full. That's one of the things that I've just not done yet.
Excellent.
But no, it's a very good journey.
Wonderful.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Heidi. And just add to that, as Heidi pointed out, for those that are on the call, I think obviously the best learning is obviously doing and actually getting involved with the scanner. Don't be too scared to pick up the scanner and use it. There is wonderful material, as Heidi alluded to, just using Jess Patel Barnes's material she has created for the team. But equally, we've got Workday and all the training videos on every denture pathway are available and accessible via Workday. But also Neil and his team have created the landing page with tips, tricks, as well as reference guides on how to scan for the various treatments. So it is all available and accessible on top of the YouTube videos that the 3Shape Academy have created and the various courses that 3Shape host directly for us. So I would encourage anybody who's either starting off a digital journey or similar to Heidi, maybe branching off and doing full dentures or more cases, check that content out.
Yeah, a couple of questions. Do immediate dentures for extractions? Yes, we can digitally remove. In fact, we can, if you want us to do an exact copy of the extracted tooth, that's also possible. We can. That's not a problem at all. The same challenges that you have with traditional dentures, with the socket healing. Thanks, Heidi. Immediates are fantastic. It's the same challenges with but if we need to reline again, it is possible to reline. What if the patient doesn't like the appearance at the fit appointment? Can changes be made? There's no trying. No, this is a two-step. This is why a little bit of patient management. If maybe you think that, especially in the aesthetic zone, especially upper 3 to 3, if there's something specific, ask the patient, is there something that they want to achieve? If they say, no, just give me a denture, that's fine. If they say, well, here's the reference picture, then we can try and mimic that as best we can. Okay, bite ridge and smile lines and facial guides. So trying to get the lip lines, a lot of this you can actually, on the Trios scan for the bite ridge. Smile lines, that's an interesting one. We always take it as an average. The way that we say to the people is to, when you've actually got the length of the ginger and the length of the teeth, assume a certain lip line. If you do have pictures that you can send through, Dale, remind me, on the Trios system, can you upload pictures onto the job there, or do they have to do it via a different portal?
You can, Neil. And, I'm just thinking about the types of questions around the bite, because it tends to come up quite often, particularly around full dentures. I think if we go back to just the two general scenarios that we have when we look at our patients, the patient will walk in and have a pre-existing denture. Of course, scanning in that pre-existing denture as a reference, scanning the edentulous arch and sending both sets of information to the lab is invaluable. But equally, there'll be very few cases, and I know this from speaking to clinicians, there'll be very few cases where you have a patient with completely no denture, so no existing denture, and they come in with completely edentulous arch. In that case, you would have to request some sort of a bite block from the lab, and it would be from that bite block that you draw up things like all your horizontal and vertical reference points, in which you would then scan in and send to the lab. Oh, we have Neil. Neil, do you want to hop in and just chime to that?
Yeah.
Oh, Neil, sorry, Neil Photay. We got Dr. Neil Simkin. Just from experience, I would definitely let Neil chime into that.
Yeah, when you've been saying Neil, referring to CosTech Neil, it's today.
There's a few Neils. Sorry, Neil Photay. Yeah.
So a couple of things that have been raised there. I've been doing fully digital dentures through multiple sources over the last couple of years. I think I'm up to nearly 200 digital dentures provided now. We talk about bite and smile lines and things. Have faith in the system. This is a new method and a new technique. You need to adapt to it. Applying old methods and old techniques to this new system doesn't always tally up. So don't worry about it. The labs are great. They can work it out. These guys are technicians. They are making and designing dentures all day, every day. They're better at it than we are. So have faith in the system. It does work. There have been a couple, like I say, I've done over 150, nearly 200 dentures now. And there have been a couple where it's gone awry, so you just speak to the lab, but it's so rare, it's not worth worrying about too much. The full dentures, that comes up so much in every one of these webinars. What is the workflow? I'll be honest, it's undescribable. There's no way that if I talked you through it now, and as Neil said, it's a 6-hour day lecture, I could talk you through it, you're still not going to get it. The 3Shape hands-on masterclasses for digital dentures walk you through the process. Get yourself on one of those classes or speak to someone in your practice who's maybe doing it already, but don't try and learn the theory. It's a manual process. You've got to see it being done, and then it will just click. It's really easy once you've seen it being done, but you cannot possibly get your head around learning about it out of a book. So get on those Trios masterclasses, look at the stuff on Workday, and it'll be absolutely fine. But I can't extol the virtues enough. Digital dentures, it's worked so well for me. 2 visits for practically everything. Full dentures, brilliant. That copy denture or that reference denture techniques makes life so much easier. Immediate's never a problem. The denture design, like I say, the technicians know what they're doing. They understand the process. I literally count on one hand the number of dentures I've had an issue with since I went fully digital. So it's a great process. Have faith in the process. Don't try and apply old learnings and techniques to the new method. They are different processes. Just because you get the same result at the end doesn't mean it's gone the same pathway. Have faith. Save that time. My denture techniques now. Last week I fitted a straight to finish cobalt chrome denture, scanned straight to finish on a cobalt chrome, and it fitted perfectly. So this is the level we're at now. So it's absolutely fabulous. The scanner works well. Can't extol the benefits of it enough. So yeah, I see Heidi's engaging with it and she's having a great time of it. So just speak to the labs as well. One final point, Dale. Sorry, I know I do take these things over, but communication with the lab. The problem when we go into the digital process is that you become quite distant. Everything's via text messages or via online communication, and you do lose a lot of that inflection. You might say one thing, it might be read in a different way. So do maintain that contact with the lab. Send them a message, or you know what, give them a phone call. As Neil said before, there's no such thing as too much information. If you've got something very specific that you want to do, don't just write it in an email and hope someone understands it. Get in there and actually speak to the lab and make sure that they fully understand and everyone's on the same page. So maintain that relationship with the lab. It's really, really important. Sorry, I see there's a few other. Well, Jonathan, do we need dentists anymore? We're on the verge of possibly not, but yeah, let's not go down that pathway just yet. But so yeah, just stay engaged with the labs, engage with the process, have faith. It works. Thanks, Dale.
Super. Thanks. Always
Brilliant.
invaluable, Dr. Neil Simpkin there, Neil Photay. So yeah, good support. Neil, assuming this is Neil Photay now, do you want to pick up on another well-respected CDA, Sheila D'Souza, has a query about exocad images for trying?
Yeah. So with the link that we sent from the WebView, chairside WebView link from exocad, it's you could actually forward that on to your patient. Again, it is a virtual STL file. You can see the denture as itself. You can see it on the scan. So it's got sliders, so you can actually see it just at what the denture is going to look like, and then the full smile line. So that can be done. If there are workflows that are in development at the moment, which basically, if you send us a picture, as Dr. Heidi said, goes add a picture of the smile line and everything, we can actually superimpose the smile onto a picture. This is a service that we're looking to develop. I've just seen Path wants to jump in, so I know he's been working on this as well. Hi, Path.
Hey, I can help you there, Neil, just to have everybody see a visual version of what you requested us to work in the back end. If you don't mind me just sharing my screen for a quick video, that'll just make things really easy. Allow me just a second.
Cool.
I think just whilst Path does that, Neil, do you want to pick up on the query from the Truro practice manager? Is it the same process for cobalt chromium as it is for acrylics?
Yeah, exactly the same. There isn't anything on the workflow that you need to do different for the chromes. Again, doing chromes straight to fits, yeah, not a problem.
I think just wondering, can you see my screen now?
Not at the moment, Path.
Allow me just a moment. So basically what I want to explain was we are able to take photos and videos and sort of trace, like we do with layers of your jaw scans and bite scans, to finally get the aesthetic zone in line, if it's the aesthetic region that you would like to have for any specific patients that want to see a before and after kind of version. So it's not just your jaw models in an exocad, monochromatic colors. They will be in full color, where we will be able to put the libraries from our teeth sets that will be milled prior and post onto the smiles from the photos and videos. Going forward, also short videos, we will be working on this. And that's what Neil mentioned, that we're working on building this infrastructure, just hasn't launched yet. We're working with some of our pilot customers, and we will bring this solution to it. So on the premium most options, we will work back and forth to develop this protocol and have the complete aesthetic color match as well.
Thanks, Parth.
Thanks.
Parth didn't get a proper introduction. Parth is actually the director of our manufacturing site. He's just moved back to Mumbai from London, so we've got to come over and catch up soon.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleased to meet everybody. We're really excited to work with everyone here. The protocols with CosTech are quite stringent, so I have to personally oversee this to ensure that everything really is the best for our patients here.
Brilliant. Cheers, Parth. Yeah, seeing a couple more. What are the prices for Chrome? So the actual Chrome price is actually just going to be added to the straight to fit. No, sorry. The Chrome price is an all-in price, but it's not incorporated into the digital side. It's because the Chrome, we can't print directly onto it, so it actually follows an analog workflow afterwards. We can mill the teeth if we need to.
And Neil, would that also be eventually uploaded to that landing page that you showed for My Dentist? I think that's the best thing would be just to advise everybody to keep a view on that landing page. All the relevant pricing info will be in there.
There will be a My Dentist specific email list that goes out. So we do our normal newsletter goes out every Wednesday, but we will be doing one maybe like once a month or twice a month with just any new updates which are specific to My Dentist, and especially down to workflows or any policy changes. If a patient has a CBT scan, can you incorporate it? Yes, we can. If you need to send a CBT scan, then usually it's WeTransfer or some system that allows you to send larger files, but you can send it through to digital@costech.co.uk. The digital team pick it up straight away. They'll add it onto the case. If you're sending a Trios scan, you've just put in the instructions CBCT scan to follow, and then what we'll actually do is we'll put a marker on it and make sure that we're aware that we're waiting for that.
Super. Just conscious of the time, Neil, but
It's gone fast.
first of all, it's gone really quickly. Thank you to all of those who attended the call and for taking your lunch breaks. Neil, just a very warm and very grateful thank you from me on behalf of the team. Very good presentation, fantastic webinar, and exciting times ahead. We've done the clinical validation, the lab are all geared up. It's really about people getting involved. All the material, supportive information is there, and of course there is clinical support in the form of CDAs who are ready to answer any more clinical specific questions. But thank you again, Neil. The webinar recording will be available shortly, as well as Neil will be sharing those slides post this call. But wishing everybody a good rest of the day, and take care. We will all speak soon. Thank you, Neil. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Thanks, guys.